show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Woo, baby, the chat's happening today. I'm telling you, man, you never know. When I come downstairs in the morning and I'm drinking my coffee and I'm setting up the show, getting everything hooked up with the monitors and everything and setting up, and I bring up this chat, you never know what's going to happen. Some mornings I log in to get going and there's like no chats, a couple people, oh, what's up, John, whatever. Other times I log in and people are dropping bombs in the chat at like 6:30 in the morning. It's just, my favorite part about this whole format, the call-in show, the chat, you never know what you're going to get. It is my favorite. Sometimes you do know what you're going to get, and I'm not excited for that either. You never know what you're going to get, man, and you guys are like off to the races today. I don't know why. It's a Wednesday in the dog days of summer. Oh, in the dog days of summer. And we got people all over the map about all sorts of things. We got Notre Dame believers. We got people who are doubting. We got a little bit of everything in here. And I'm excited to get it going. So the phone lines are up. I'm telling you, Monday, they seemed okay. Everybody, if you're here every day, the phone lines have not been my friend the last week, handful of days. It's June. Stop calling them the dog days. I don't know. My dogs act like it's hot in June. So it's the dog days of summer. And let's be honest, I just like making the sound. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Angela, good to see you. Always good to have a Rudiger in the chat. Dr. John, Mark with glasses is in court. I don't think he's a defendant. I think he's give me a break on the dog days. And here's the other thing. That's not only a reference to the weather, it's a reference to where we're at in football. So now you guys are bugging me. It isn't just about the heat outside, it's about the lack of football. When I say the dog days of summer, I mean in the middle where nothing's happening in football. Give me a break. 9:03 is all that took. This show's so stupid sometimes. There's 10 different things in the chat that I want to talk about, that I'm mad about, that have to do with football. And I'm over here mad about when the dog days of summer are. I'm combining a little heat with the lack of football. All right? So give me a break. I'm trying to figure out what else should I call this period then? It's not a dead period. I'm trying to find a way to call whatever we're in now. There ain't a lot of football stuff happening. What do you call that part? Oh, don't do this to me at 9:03. Here's the thing. I'm getting this out of the way now, and then we'll go to the football, okay? I'm getting it out of the way now. Then we'll go to the calls. I'm going to calm down. It's 9:04. It's going to be a long show at this rate. Here's what I'm saying. I was very, very conflicted yesterday. Normally, the Crosstown Classic, Sox and Cubs, is a big deal to me. Got to see it, got to have it. The Cubs got to lose. It's important to me that all this stuff. Yesterday was very different. The Sox are on an 11. We're on an 11-game losing streak. I was very conflicted. I wanted the losing streak to continue to further embarrass White Sox ownership and everybody involved. So at this point, I am rooting for as many losses in a row. If you're going to be this bad, I want you to break the record to be the worst team of all time, so that sticks with White Sox ownership and there's no way to run from it. Then I got that bumped up against my hatred for the Cubs my whole life. I said White Sox. I hate them too, and they're my team. For my long-lived desire to see the North Side stuff not work out and go down and all their fancy and everything in Wrigleyville, and it's a bachelorette party, and there happens to be a baseball game there too, and we're awesome. All of that. So then I was thinking, maybe I want the Cubs to win just to further embarrass my team. And then you got a 5-0 lead. And I'm like, okay, never mind. Screw these people. Let's get the win. And then they went ahead and lost anyways. And they're awful. And it's embarrassing. And I don't even know why I even watched it, just to get pissed off. 12 in a row. You lost 12 in a row. Worst start. I'm done with this. So let's get back to the football, because I just can't handle it anymore. Even with a 5-0 lead, you couldn't win it. I can't handle it. It's too much. Too much awful football. I just can't do it. It's disgraceful. It really is. Anyways. All right. I want to go over some of the schedule here. Some of the nuance of the schedule here today. I feel like this schedule sets up for Notre Dame very favorably. Not only just the teams we play, but where they're at on the schedule, how they're spaced out, even some of the like kickoff times, night, day, middle of the day, afternoon, even some of that nuance, I feel like helps Notre Dame in some ways. And I wanted to go over some of that. Also, here's another thing. With this recruiting situation, especially at wide receiver, there better be a plan. There better be a plan. You need at least, 2 more, and you got a couple guys that are lower ranked already in the fold. Like, you were in a spot where you need to hit. And it needs to be soon if it's going to hit the way this is timing out. There's got to be something. With Terry decommitting, and I understand that was like not surprising, maybe kind of encouraged, buddy. You might want to look maybe from both sides a little bit on that one. The only way you're doing that is if the writing on the wall tells me if you're okay losing a guy in that room when you need numbers in that room, that tells me you better be expecting some good news from a couple guys. You better be getting good news here in June with like a double dip type thing. 2 guys in a weekend committing and they're both good, like what Meadows and one other got, whatever it is. You better have something. Oh man, we're talking about soccer. A lot of runs. Just a lot of running. I just can't. It's too much running. I remember as a little kid, they were like, do you want to play soccer? And I was like, yeah, if I'm the goalie, because I don't have to run and I have above average hand-eye coordination. I'm not running a cross-country event up and down a soccer field and just running around all day. I'm not doing it. I like running to a base, running to first base, running to I can't run just to run. Too much running for me in soccer. I can't, and I never wanted to play soccer and give up my hand-eye coordination. I don't have the same hand-foot coordination. So I never got into this soccer thing. Too much running. And I don't know where you guys are from or whatever, but I don't know. I never saw anybody in high school with great hand-eye coordination like play soccer. I never saw that. They played something else. Too much running. Too much running. Oh, I ran, and then I ran back, and then I ran all the way down here, and then nothing happened. I always liked playing goalie. I didn't have to run, and you could use your hand-eye coordination. That was awesome. I always wanted to do that. Call me lazy if you want. All right, couple calls. Let me do my early chat, because there's some good ones. Let's see what we got. Man, there's callers. We got a few of them. The phones seem to be working. We'll see if we could get Dr. John on the Wednesday call without problems. I don't know. We'll see. And then everybody thought I blocked the commander. I didn't block no commander. He's back. The commander's back. I don't know what he's commanding, but he's back here. He's back. I told you guys I didn't block him. Everybody was saying to unblock him. I didn't block him. He's back. He might even be on the line. Who knows what he's going to yell at me for this time. Look at this. $5 holler from Adam Dowling. Probably out on the yacht. Out on the yacht. Not sure how much more these male cheerleaders I can handle this summer. It's creepy. There was another video making the rounds of Texas A&M's male cheerleading squad overall cult. It's one of the more disturbing things I've ever seen on Twitter. And that's saying a lot because Twitter is a disgusting cesspool. Okay. It was horrific. It was terrifying. It was creepy. It is, I'm pretty sure, a cult initiation ritual. I mean, you had the full boat, you guys, just in the overalls, doing their dances and their cheers. They were doing the jazz hands. They were go A&M. And they were doing the jazz hands and they were dancing all together and they had the jazz hands going and we're doing all that. Creepy as hell. Creepy as hell. I don't understand it. It's cultish in ritual. This is not a normal activity. Notre Dame has a couple male cheerleaders for football, and they push the girls up to do their wave or their whatever they're doing to hold up the signs. It isn't like this. Like we have a couple male cheerleaders in the corner down there with our cheerleaders to push them up and yell and do whatever. It ain't like this. It ain't like this. This is a very specific thing, and it is creepy, and I got a lot of questions, and I'm very uncomfortable, and I don't trust these people. When you go to the A&M game as a Notre Dame fan, hide your you know the meme, hide your kids, hide your wife, because I don't trust any of these people. Keep your head on a swivel, bro. I'm not kidding. It is that creepy. I don't trust any of these people. So if any Notre Dame people go down there, keep your head on a swivel, man. I don't know what to expect, but it's creepy and it's culty. And when I represent the religious football school and I'm saying things are cultish and creepy, maybe you should listen up. Very unsettling what I see from those cheerleaders and the overalls. Every single thing about it is disturbing. It's disturbing. And I'm not looking forward to having a whole summer when we get into the dog days, whenever that is. When we get into the dog day, I'm just not looking forward to having these people, a meeting with these cultists hanging over my head all summer. It is really creepy. And every time I make a comment about it on Twitter, I get blocked. Multiple of those A&M accounts have already blocked me because I cannot let their creepy videos go without saying something rude. They interpret me as rude. I look at it as public service. I'm warning people of how creepy these people are. And it's not unfounded. 2 weeks ago, on-campus group just got busted for underage stuff. So I'm not, you think I'm messing around? I'm not messing around. These people aren't normal. They have a problem. I'm not saying this like John's making fun of whatever team because we play him and he's going to give them our time. No, there are legitimate reasons to seriously question these people. Seriously, look into it. A couple weeks ago, what they cracked that was going on, what they found out on that campus in one of those student groups. Take a deep look at it. Read the paperwork. These people are sick. They're sick. I think the oil money down there got in their brain. It's in their drinking water. There's something ain't right. You can look in these people's faces and see they ain't wired right. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. All right? So keep your head on a swivel, man. I'm telling you, I don't trust these people at all. None. 0%. Mark with glasses. I got jury duty today, so I'll be missing in action. Somebody fill in for me and say some stupid stuff once in a while so the chat stays consistent. I appreciate it. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell anybody that had jury duty. The last time I got called for jury duty was in the middle of the lockdowns, and I was the only guy burying people in the whole county. And I told the court, I said, if you make me sit in here for this, we're going to just have to stack people out in the road because there's an abnormal amount of burials that need to be processed, and I'm the guy. So you better let me out of here unless you want to deal with that problem. And I got out of it. Mark, here's what you do to get out of jury duty. When they interview you, you say you're biased against every single group there is, and then they're going to boot you out. Whatever the situation, whatever they ask. Women, yeah, I don't like them. Anybody that doesn't look like me, racial, I can't do that. I know it's not true and you're a nice guy. I'm just trying to find you a way to get out of it all. So you just say you're against every single different group, and then they're going to go, man, this guy's really biased. We can't trust him to be neutral. Get him out of here. That's the way to do it. You just got to act like a horrible person, Mark. I know it's hard for you because you're the sweetest guy in the world, but you need to just tell him you hate everyone, and then you'll get out of it. The White Sox blew the game against the Cubs. Such a shame. Yeah, 12 in a row. 15 losses in a row is the Sox all-time record. I'm hoping we could get to 13 today, and I'm hoping we can maybe run this baby to 20. Maybe we look at 24. I am all for as much embarrassment on the White Sox as possible. It may be the only thing that gets through to them. So the more embarrassment, the better. Go ahead and lose every game. Every game. John, there's a lot of smack talk coming from ND fans about USC. They're acting like USC was ND in 2016. Go look at the scores of their losses. A lot of close games despite having zero defense. Yeah, but isn't their whole situation going to change? And is that going to help them or hurt them? Is there going to be a Big Ten adjustment period where they got to adjust to the travel, a more physical way? I'm not saying more talent across the board. I'm saying a different, more physical brand of football week to week, not 1 week when you play Utah and one when you play Washington or Oregon. Week to week, even some of the not great talent Big Ten teams are going to be a little more physical. The travel. Also, you got to respect their schedule this year. You got a Big Ten schedule, and it opens with LSU, and it closes with Notre Dame. You could not like USC all you want, and as much as Lincoln Riley tried to cry and get out of playing the LSU game and beg Brian Kelly to relinquish it, and he wouldn't, that's a heck of a real slate. Open with LSU, close with Notre Dame, Big Ten in the middle. Now you're cooking. So I don't know. I would guess they're ultimately going to adjust and be fine in the Big Ten, but I think it's going to take a while. Also, I understand they're redoing their defense. Totally justified. LSU and USC in the same boat with good offenses, no defenses. Redoing that defense. My thought is there's no way you could redo that defense fine. There's no way the offense is going to be what it has. You don't have Caleb. Caleb Williams was different. Whatever. And I know every quarterback Lincoln Riley has ends up in the draft. Everyone's good. Blah, blah, blah. Fine. It ain't Caleb. It just isn't going to be that skill set, whatever they do for this year. It ain't going to be that. So I have a hard time seeing their offense be as good as it's been. And the defense could get better, but I don't think that offense is going to be what it is. And I told you all before, I'm 100% rooting for USC to beat Kelly week 1, 100%. There's not even 1 second of doubt for me to go, oh my God, which way am I going to root for on that one? No, I'm rooting for USC. I want Kelly and all the LSU people pissed off right away, and then give USC false hope. They're going to catch a few 3 or 4 losses at least, I believe, before we see them, or I'd be surprised. We could beat them, and then they have a feather in their cap that makes us look better if we beat them after they beat LSU. There's not one part of me that's like, oh, maybe I should root for Kelly because USC. No. Nope. It's not how I see it. Look at this. Hang in there, callers. I'm coming to you. If I don't get to the chats that come on before the show, I'm struggling to balance all this the right way. And there are a lot of discussions on the boards about the expected 24 record. They should absolutely be 11-0 for USC. Even ESPN saying Indy has the best odds to go undefeated. Yeah, I mean, you know what everybody's response to that's going to be? Talk to me after week one, bro. It's the ultimate indicator. It's just the ultimate indicator. If you win week one, everybody's going to have 12-0 in their minds. And if you don't, everybody's going to have 7-5 in their minds. I'm just telling you. And if they lose it, depending on how it looks, you could have some big worries. So this is all build up, all media narrative pointing right to the Texas A&M matchup. And then the result's going to dictate the vibe the rest of the entire season, good or bad. It's just that big of a moment. There's no way to avoid it. Week one, if this game with A&M was week 4 or something, it would still be huge, but it would be different than it is week one, man. When you have all summer building, everybody's looking at week one, all summer. Through the cat days of summer. Do you guys like that for the early part of summer? We'll call it the cat summer. Week one, everybody's looking to it. It gets magnified and it gets extrapolated out to represent the whole year. Look at what happened with Alabama last year, too. They lost week one. That wasn't at Texas. And it's like, they're done. They're going to lose 5 games this year, whatever. And they fought back. And I don't think they lost another game. Did they? Or did they lose another one and I'm forgetting? I don't know. Oh, boy. Andrew. Oh, boy. All the writers seem to think there's a good plan for wide receiver recruiting. I hope they're right. But how did Freeman allow for it to get this dicey? The wide receiver room has been a clear issue. There better be a plan. That's what I was hinting at with June better be a big time. The Terry thing better be making room, expecting you're going to get a couple of these guys that are 4-star plus bona fides. That better be what that all tells me, is that's where we're going towards. It's got to be. I've been really thinking about this. I've been messaging people behind the scenes, trying to get information. Like, is that where this is building towards? It better be. And it better be like a June boom where you got bang, bang, 4-star wide receiver, and then boom, another day, 4-star wide receiver. I'm telling you, you need it. You need it. This group has got to get right, man. You're starting to feel like they're getting the quarterback pieces of this right, stacking highly thought of guys. You got to get this part right. And you got to start having dudes, not bodies, not RKGs, not Johnnies. No, I need dudes, man. I need dudes. Yeah, Andrew, exactly. 2 3-stars only. They need to land 2 IN 4-stars, salvage the class. That's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where my mind's going. That's exactly what I've been asking people that have more access to me to the recruiting operation is. This is setting up to either be a total disaster or we're making room for better guys and everybody's going to be happy and we're going to have a good summer party. I need it. Oh, Adam's getting juiced up. Adam's getting juiced up for the season. The time is now. No more excuses. You guys, I feel this. I feel this so much. Like, bro, I'm so ready for Notre Dame to do something different and by different, I mean good. I'm just ready for it, man. Like, you got to turn the page over on this. There's got to be like a seminal moment, not seminal, like, oh, not that kind of seminal, but like a big moment. I need a big moment, man, where you force the country to go, this don't look like the Notre Dame we're used to. And I don't like it. Right? Like, isn't that the ultimate credibility we're seeking, is for all the other media and the fans to watch Notre Dame and go, this doesn't look like the Notre Dame I've been used to for 25 years. And that's going to ruin my night. That's the kind of energy I want people to have for Notre Dame. I want you to force people to respect Notre Dame where it isn't a damn option. It isn't an option. I want you to force people's hand. And the only way you force people's hand into respecting you is to win big games. Win them. It's the only way. Lou knew there's one thing we want more than anything else: respect. Respect around the country. And you don't get that beating Navy 68-0 and 2 down submarines. You don't. You go in there and you beat Texas A&M. You have Florida State come to your place and you shut them down. You go out to LA and you ruin their Thanksgiving weekend on the beach. That's how you get respect. Not piling it on Central Michigan and Navy and claiming you're awesome. I'm sick of it. It's gone on long enough, and it needs to change. Look at this. The bar's moving. The bar's moving. John, I'm surprised you're not calling for a Final Four berth as the goal this season. And D's loaded on D. Is there a team naturally that scares us? Maybe Georgia. I think it's wide open. Notre Dame's defense can match up with every offense we're going to play. Notre Dame's defense can match up and man up with every team that is on our schedule. Here's the issue, though, Andrew. I'm a bit uncomfortable delving too much into where Notre Dame will fit in the playoff part of this. Because there's no body of evidence to know how this is going to work and what this looks like when you get into it and the seeding and how much that seeding's really going to matter when you get later into those rounds. I did shift from just making the playoff to saying you at least need to win a game, I think, for it to be considered a true success. Now we're going another round. So now we're going with 2. Hey. I hope Notre Dame can pull it off. Update. I've been waiting in this jury room for almost an hour, just reading the chat because the case might not come forward. Mark, I'm telling you, the way out of it is just to be a jerk and tell them you're biased against everybody. You'll be released before you can blink. John and Always Irish family, it's great seeing here, everybody. I had a rough day yesterday. I'm glad to be back to normal. Just want to say thanks to everyone here for letting me vent at times. Nick, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you made it through that. And you know what? It does mean the world to me when I've had people say, John, I got a lot of personal stuff going on with health or difficult family things or whatever's going on. And you give me a little break from that. If that's a purpose I could serve for people in any way, I really appreciate that you feel comfortable to be here as that outlet, Nick. And you're a good dude, really good dude. Let me know if you need anything, man. I got the hookup in South Bend on grotto candles. So if anybody ever needs a grotto prayer, Grandpa Kennedy always said they counted more. A grotto prayer counts more. So we could do that. Let me know. I'll have my guy run down there, light a candle, and you'll know that it's for you. And you can have the comfort of not being there, but knowing there's a grotto candle for your prayer. If that's something, I'll offer that to any of you guys. Email me, and it's none of my business what your problems are. I got my own problems. All you got to say is, I don't need to have a counseling session with you. Just go, John, I'm having a rough time. Would you mind getting something lit? That's all you got to say. And I'll take care of that for you. If that's something that means something to you guys, let me know. Commander Luke, this may be the number one thing Commander Luke's ever said here that I agree with more than anything else, and that hits me to my core in my soul. Commander Luke, I'm with you. Read this. The team has to become rabid savages. Yes. Yes. That is a type of vibe and an energy I don't get enough from Notre Dame players and collectively. I don't get enough of that. I just don't. It's not enough for my liking. And some of it, though, this isn't going to go over well. Not everybody's going to like this. Some of it is the very nature of Notre Dame. It does not lend itself to personalities that are rabid savages. Do you feel me? The day-to-day Notre Dame life, it doesn't cater to rabid savages in the classroom, right? Around the Notre Dame, it doesn't line up with that. It's never fully going to line up with that, and I don't think I want it to. You need enough rabid savages balanced out with the normal Notre Dame mindset guys. You need a handful of rabid savages. I don't need all of them. I need a handful of rabid savages. You know the type. Before the game, they're sweating, they're spitting, they're shaking, they're foaming at the mouth. I want those guys banging their head against the locker in the locker room, banging their head against the wall before we go out. I want some guys on the team that are borderline on like psychotic before the game, where you got to be like, I'm a little scared of this guy. That's what you need. That's how you get 5 more gears out of wherever you normally are. Is you're that jacked up, ready to go, that you're out of your mind and you're in turbo adrenaline mode and you're ready to go out there. I need to feel more of that from Notre Dame football. I need it. And it could be as little as a couple guys on each side of the ball that have that. It's not going to be everybody because how Notre Dame's built. I need a few on each side of the ball that are borderline on psychotic before the game starts, because they're out of their minds, ready to go crack people, man. Ready to go. I'm totally with you, Commander. Notre Dame needs more of that energy and less, oh, well, we lost 2 games. Well, that's okay. At least I'm going to get my finance degree and make $180,000 right out of school being an accountant. No. I need mean. I need it. Hopefully we get a quick rant on the White Sox for last night. I already did it, and I'm not. Damn it. $2 holler from Steven. Freeman is cooking. And the Yanks keep rolling. Yeah, they're having a good year. Aaron Judge hitting a lot of homers. He's big. That's a large man, dude. That guy's a very large person. Oh, the internet's being laggy. What a surprise. V1 Rotate, $5 holler. Just going to throw this out there. If the 2 best receivers this season are 2 walk-on lacrosse players, a former quarterback, I'm done. Yeah, exact. Dude, don't make me mention how sad it was that, everybody, I love Faison. Dr. John, I'm coming right to you. I love Faison. It's awesome what he did. Yeah, it is awesome what he did. You should never be in the position where he's even able to do what he did, though. That's the big picture issue. Don't kid yourself. If you had a real world wide receiver room, you ain't in the position where a walk-on lacrosse guy is your most reliable receiver for the second half of the year. Get serious about football. That's not being serious about football. Is it a hidden gem? Lucky we have him. Glad he's getting the opportunity. You darn well bet. It's the ultimate Notre Dame story here. Do it. I love all that. Keep in mind why you were in the position for this to happen is because you're bad at that part of football. You got to be able to process both, Notre Dame fans. I challenge you, be able to process it all. Understand how awesome this is. Also understand how bad things had to be to let it happen. That's the real deal, man. Tell the full story. That's the reality. It ain't good enough, and it needs to get better. $19 holler. June dues in honor of a buddy who turns 80 the month of the 19th. Very nice. Yeah, I thought the 19 was an interesting touch. $5 from Naomer. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you here. I hope you're playing some golf today somewhere, buddy. $5 holler from the Chief. It's getting to be Chief Brody's kind of year. Busy at the beach. A lot of activity. Here's my rep, but also to Andrew's point, I kind of fully believe this is the type of schedule that BK would have gone 12-0 against. Diet 2018 schedule. Yeah, if you're, listen, man, you got to have a good year. I'm telling you, man, the schedule lines up for you in a very favorable way. It does. It lines up for you in a favorable way. You don't have eight weeks in a row with no bye. You're not traveling you're not going on a worldwide cruise, hitting all the different continents and all this and flying back and we want TV ratings instead of wins, and we value that. Like, you're not doing that this year. You don't even have, what do you have? 3 real away games? Like, I think you only have 3 real away games. Then you're in these neutral venues for some of them. You got 2 academies, don't you? You got Navy and Army. Okay, I'm telling you, it's week 1. Like, there's no way around it when I'm doing it's week one. Like, all of what I'm talking about in week one. It's too big of a moment. It's just too big of a moment. Everything's riding on it. My word. You got to win this game in the worst way, Marcus. You got to win this game. Win this game. Defeat the cult. Eric, $20 hour. That is my lawyer in Michigan. And I'm sure he keeps busy. I forget what kind of lawyer he is. If he's a defense lawyer, oh, baby, you got a big book of business in Michigan. Whoa. Unbelievable. So if you're a defense attorney in Michigan, I'm sure you have no shortness for clients the way those people act. Unbelievable. Oh, Gene Greathouse. Yeah, is he going to be the number one guy this year? Is he going to be the leader of that group? That's the other question. Who is the undisputed leader of the wide receiver group? Then we're going to the calls. I promise. I'm sorry, you guys, but I had to get caught up on these chats and donations. Who is the leader on the Notre Dame wide receiver group? Who is it? Who is it? Thomas? I mean, has he even been out there enough to be relied upon as a leader as he's older? I don't know if that, or is it Jaden Greathouse? He's going to looking like the most consistent guy, the number one guy. Okay, if it's going to be Greathouse, I have no problem with that. But it is something we need to acknowledge. It is something we need to acknowledge. He's young. And it's a big responsibility and a big obligation if you're going to be a true sophomore, played as a true freshman, and then you're going to be the leader of that group. We need to acknowledge that's not an ideal place to start. It's just not an ideal place to start. But if it is how it works out, beautiful. Beautiful. Pump faking. Good to have you here, man. I'm going to say this. I really appreciate people that like other teams that come in here. It really is a compliment, even if they hate Notre Dame and want to come in here and make fun of me or whatever. To have this detailed of a Notre Dame show pulling other people in, that means something to me. He's saying, what about Cam Williams or Bo Collins? The problem is Cam Williams just got on campus and is trying to get his college legs under him. That ain't going to work. He's not there yet. And then the problem with Bo Collins is maybe I'm showing my oldness. The problem with that is, how do you have a guy come over from Clemson, just been on campus like a month, and now he's the de facto leader? All the Notre Dame the full Notre Dame guys that have been here all these years are following that guy that just came in and they're getting to know. I don't know how that works when it's a guy, he ain't even here yet. That's the thing. Nobody knows him. He ain't even really here yet. Wasn't at the spring practices, so that's awkward too. You have a stranger becomes your leader? That's a little weird to me. Don't you want a guy you trust and he's proven himself in the locker room and on the field that you could get behind him and follow him? Isn't that hard to do when a guy just walks off the street? Here's my argument to you, Mikey. He says Hartman did it. The quarterback's different. The quarterback's a default leader, whether they have the personality for it or not. The quarterback's always going to be the default leader on offense. I'm glad you brought it up, Mikey. That's a different thing. The quarterback's the leader, the default leader. It's the most important individual position in sports. It is the number one position that could tilt games, win to loss, more than any other single position in sports. It's that quarterback. Touches the ball on every single offensive play. Yeah, Kent's trying to give me an aneurysm in June. Imagine the QB situation. So horrible. Here comes Buckner. Oh, baby. Don't think it hasn't been in my mind. Don't think it hasn't been in my mind. Oh, look at this. And then we'll go to the calls. Jerry Reinsdorf's burner. John, are the Sox going to win another game this season? I hope they don't. I genuinely mean that. I am so sickened by every single day. I want them to lose every single game. I honestly do. I want them to set every record, biggest losing streak in a row of all time. I want it. Most losses all time in a 162 game season. Give it to me. If I do watch, I root against them because it's pointless for you to win a game here and there when you're this big of a disgrace. It does you nothing to win one game a week here and there. No, I want full humiliation. I want them to be the worst team in baseball, get all the bad publicity, and I want to embarrass everyone connected with the operation, everyone. The bat boy, the trainers, the coaches, everyone, marketing. I want them all embarrassed. Everybody. So I root for them to lose every single game, and they're my team. It's just the way it is. It's kind of how I felt at the end of the Weiss era. I started rooting against Notre Dame for Notre Dame. Do you understand what I'm saying? I started rooting against Notre Dame because I was rooting for Notre Dame. Are you mature enough of a fan to process what I'm telling you right now? If you're going to type in this chat, oh my God, John, you're not even a real Notre Dame fan. You got to root for the Irish to win every game if you're a real fan. False. You are wrong. I root for whatever path gets Notre Dame to their next title the quickest. What that means is when you saw and you knew 100% Charlie Weiss was failing and the recruiting was failing and everything was falling apart, I was saying, as much as it hurts, I need him to lose a few more games so there's no doubt that he's fired and they're not tempted to bring him back on false hope of winning just enough to justify another year. That was very, very painful, but it was what needed to be done. It was what needed to be done. And so, yeah, I guess USC's a little different. I'm talking about later era Weiss. You still had some hope in 05. You still had some hope with that team. It's everything after that took a dump on you. Remember 06? Notre Dame started out the year, I believe, ranked number 2. That did not work out. That did not work out. Oh, my God. Notre Dame will win overall. That's all you need to know. Oh, I like that. Quantum potential. That's like some philosophical stuff here. Wrapping in the I like that. Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. What could Marcus do this year to make you say I'm done? I mean, if you go 8-4 for pretty much any reason, you're going to have a huge problem. If you go 9-3 for any reason, you're going to have a huge problem. Again, it's a big year, Kent. And if you're even losing 2 games, you better have some injuries, man. I'm starting to feel a little frisky like some of you chatters are. That schedule sets up for you, damn it. It sets up for you. Take advantage. 15 and 147 would be an untouchable record. Oh, yeah, and it'd have your face all over it, bro. It would have you do not see 7-5. You do not see 7-5. You just want to see me have a stroke at 9:43 Central Time, Chicago time, Illinois time. That's what you want. Come on, D-Rock. Callers, I'm coming to you. NIL news. Yesterday, Florida High School Athletes Association approved high school athletes to get NIL deals. What could possibly go wrong? You know what I saw the other day? I saw an interview with, what was it? Nevin Shapiro. He was that big booster. The big booster for Miami when they were doing all their shady things and winning, and they had all that trash on the field and the way they were operating and all that. So Devin Shapiro was interviewed, and they were talking about him being this mega booster for Miami and how he controlled the purse strings of the program. Keep in mind, this was before NIL. He was talking about controlling the money, entering the program as that mega shady booster type. He was talking about Devin Hester was not playing and he was on the bench and he wasn't doing anything and he wasn't getting playing time. He wasn't returning punts. He wasn't returning kicks, none of that stuff. And Devin Shapiro said, or Nevin, whatever his stupid name is, he said, I didn't understand why Devin Esther wasn't playing because I knew how fast he was. So I went to the head coach and I said, you're either going to play him on all special teams and on offense in the next game, or you're not getting any other money to fund your program and pay all the players illegally. I'm turning off the faucet. And the coach said back to Shapiro, I'm not letting some random shady booster in Miami tell me how to run my team. And then the next game, Devin Esther was out there, returned 2 punts for a touchdown, and the rest is history. And the money kept flowing in. That's a wild story to me, how much control and power these people had over everything. And he said, I'm turning off the faucet. You got to get that guy the ball. Let him play. So really interesting. Brandon, give me a break. All right, Dr. John, I got a 219. I got 2574s. Let's see what's happening today. Hopefully the phones work. Dr. John, what's going on, buddy? Don't. Dr. John. All right, watch this. Check this out. On this one, let's call him back.
You didn't have me?
Dr. John, there's something weird going on. You are the only person where when I answer your call, you don't hear me. And then I have to call you back.
Oh, no, I hear you, bud. I hear you.
But I mean, when I say that I'm going to you live, you're on the air. What's up, Dr. John? I don't hear anything. And then I hang up and call you back, and then you're live. I don't hear you talking.
Well, I can hear you, and I start talking, but
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what the deal is. I check my phone. It somebody else going to call me. It's fine. So anyway,
I got you now.
I appreciate you calling me back.
Yeah, I always do.
All right.
I got you back. Today has a lot of energy, Dr. John, and you never know why. You never know what vibe you're going to get here. I like the energy, and people are really, Dr. John, people are ready for this Notre Dame season to be different. People are really, really ready for a different energy, a legitimate energy, and different results. The patience is wearing thin. There's a lot of scar tissue. We're ready to win, man. What do you think?
Well, I'm ready to win too, but I got more important things to talk about right now, and that parking pass.
Yeah.
Have you found one?
Nah, I'm working on it. I still got time, and some of those crack loose over the summer months, and different people get them. But I did think it was weird. Dr. John, I believe there's a lot more interest in Notre Dame this year from our own fan base. I feel that there's a lot more buy-in. And one of my pieces of proof is when I logged in right when those tickets went public, man, they were a lot harder to get than they were last year. And all the parking was already sold out on the app right away. Day one, the first hour those tickets were available to the public, there was no parking passes available to buy through the app. Even for the bad games. I'm not even talking about Florida State. I'm talking about Miami, Ohio, Northern Illinois, no parking passes. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm going to have to work on it.
Well, here's the deal. You've got my pass if you can't get one.
Well, I appreciate that. Are you figuring if your brother has one, you can maybe double it up and get in there that way? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and if we have too many people that we got to take two cars, I've got a classmate that lives just east off Beulah Road. I can leave my car there and walk in. It's not a big deal.
Here's the thing. I really, really appreciate you working on that. We still got all the summer, and there's some people I know that may be able to come through. So let's stay in touch on that. But I was really surprised.
All right.
Man, I was surprised, though. All those passes were gone for every game right away. And when I went to get my tickets in that top row that I liked, so I have room to move around, man, it was like hard for me to get exactly where I wanted. I feel like there's a lot more buy-in this year, and people really bought in, and they're energetic about what this could be. and I just don't want to be so frustrated I flip off the back of the stadium.
Yep. Well, and but of course I had to get 6 tickets, so it was a little tougher.
Yeah.
But and I wanted to be on the Notre Dame side, but we ended up on the other side. But my brother who'll be there, he said, okay, I'll go the extra a ticket if we sit on the 50-yard line. So we're on the 50, up in the upper deck, up a bunch of rows. I always figure if I'm in the upper deck, I don't have a bad seat. So.
Yeah, it's and you know what else I always love is that time of the year the weather's going to be decent. Even if it were to rain, it isn't going to be a 32-degree rain. I could deal with anything in September, so I'm totally ready for it, Dr. John. We're going to have ourselves a good time and a good growing group. And you know what else, Dr. John, that I really love about this? This is probably my favorite part of this next tailgate we're doing. And I think you'll appreciate it being the way you are. There are multiple people that I know traveling very far, some from Canada and then a bunch of other states, some from Florida, some from Canada. They're coming to the tailgate and they're bringing their kids to a Notre Dame game for the first time. I really love that vibe, man. Having my Twitter Notre Dame circle, people come and they're bringing their kids and they're excited to see Notre Dame for the first time. I'm telling you, that means a lot to me. I'm excited.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well,
you know me. I'm all about the kids, Dr. John. You know me. I'm all about the youth. You know, I just want to be a good influence for the youths of America.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hope they don't listen to your show.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's okay if they listen to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. Although I'm doing pretty good with my language. These shows are pretty clean. I'm finding ways to maintain the intensity, but without all the language. I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah, but one of the things I'm concerned about in the chat is I get disparities all the time, so these kids would never respect their elders.
Oh, I'm telling you what, man, it's rough out there. I've learned that the chat, Dr. John, the chat is oddly specific with certain things they listen for and they're quick to call out. Like it's a really interesting dynamic, but I see some of these chats sometime and it'll be the littlest tiny thing people will notice or give me a hard time on if I misspoke. It's like, God forbid I go live 10 hours a week and I misspeak one guy's name or a statistic. Like, sorry, I'll shut it all down. It's not good enough for you.
Oh, man. Well, one of the items on my list that D-Rock Irish stole from me, I got a text yesterday from friends in Boise informing me we were going to play Boise State next year.
I'm going to tell you this.
But he's already put that in the chat.
I'm going to tell you this. Here's my response to that. My response to that is, I am totally in favor of Boise State coming to play us at Notre Dame Stadium. I am going to protest and start a riot if we are expected to go play on that blue AstroTurf fake field that is just like so obnoxious. I'm not ever doing it. So as long as they come to us, I'm fine. I refuse. I will boycott us going to play in that circus blue BS field. I'm not doing it. I'm not kidding, Dr. John. It degrades Notre Dame's brand. I'm serious. It's offensive going to play on that stupid blue turf. And that one year they had a guy lay down on it and hide with the blue jersey to blend in the field. I'm not trying to play these games. You can come to us. I'm not going there. That's my line.
Well, now here's the caveat. If we get to dress in blue, then we go.
Yeah, so we're the ones that get to blend in. Yeah. I just think it's,
there you go.
Man, it rubs me the wrong way, that stupid blue field. Oh, man. Oh, look
I've been on that field, actually.
Oh, yeah? Well, I hope you weren't wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
You'd get lost.
No, I'm not sure. I don't remember what I was wearing, but we got to do a tour there once.
But
anyway.
I do. But Dr. John, that is a really intriguing. If you're going to go outside like the main conference stuff, everything we're doing, and go get somebody, Boise State has real college football cachet over the years. For one of those extra games, I'm actually really intrigued with it. Just don't suggest to me we go there. That's my only thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, they were in probably one of the top 5 interesting bowl games in history.
Yeah.
When they played Oklahoma.
Yeah, everybody remembers that. Yeah.
That was amazing.
It was a wild sequence. Good. Yeah. It was all fun as long as it doesn't happen to us. Like, I love it. As long as we're not on the other end of it, I love it. Yeah.
That's right. It's a lot more fun when that's going on and you're not worried about that scoring. So.
Exactly. Yep.
Anyway, recruiting has been a big thing lately.
Yeah.
And I just thought to me, what a grind recruiting has become.
Yes. It is nonstop, Dr. John. It is nonstop.
Oh my God. It's
every day of the year. There's something to do, whether it's retaining your own guys, that's the other thing, Dr. John, you need to realize, you do, but everybody needs to realize this. You are no longer just recruiting high school players. You're also recruiting your own guys to stay and not leave. That is a real thing. And Notre Dame went to some guys and had to pay them fat NIL to stay and not either leave or go to the league or whatever. You got to re-recruit your own guys. Also, the timelines have sped up. I'm already seeing them talk about 27 class guys that are like 15. The calendar's so sped up now. The recruiting is nonstop every day. There's always something. And it's one of the reasons I suspect this is going to turn into a young man's game as far as coaching. I don't think a lot of these older guys, unless you're like at Georgia and you got it on autopilot right now, the way they do with recruiting, I suspect it's going to become a young man's game because the grind will wear you out if you don't love it and you don't have the energy for it. Really good point by you.
You got to stick with a kid for 3 years.
Yeah. And it might give you no return. And it might give you no return. Like if you're recruiting a guy, there's no guarantee all your work and your resources are going to pay off. That is what it takes now. And that's why I try and tell people, I know you're frustrated with certain Marcus Freeman things that have happened. If you didn't have a guy with his energy willing to recruit the way he is, Notre Dame would have fallen so far behind where they're at right now. You wouldn't even be able to see the pack you're chasing if you had a regular guy who wasn't obsessed with working the recruiting the way Freeman is. We would have fallen so far behind, you have no idea. People take that for granted. Even when you're frustrated with Notre Dame's recruiting, it's still, you have to have an obsession and love it.
Well, here's something else interesting I thought about earlier today. Now that we're going to actually pay players, is there going to be such a thing as a contract that you can have a kid sign when he's a sophomore in high school?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that part.
I don't either.
I don't know how they're going to do that part. But I did see Freeman was talking about we're going to be able to pay market value with these other schools. And like Freeman said, we're going to be able to pay top dollar to attract these people like everybody else when all this money kicks in or whatever. It seems like Freeman's getting support from the powers that be in Notre Dame to be involved in this and keep up with the Joneses and do all that. And that's what you need. And it seems like they're willing to do it. So I don't know.
Well, despite the fact that I'm ticked off at Pete for not showing up at the Blue Gold tailgate, I think he's the right guy at the right time.
John, I love your loyalty. It's like, you know, what's more important, Pete? You going into the parking lot and seeing John yell and drink Miller Lite, or doing a TV interview talking about what Notre Dame's trying to accomplish? Where are your priorities at, Pistol Pete? Get your ass in that parking lot.
Yeah, well,
I love you.
well, he should. Yeah, well, he said he was going to do it, but I understand that
Yeah.
apparently you don't have the same cachet as
Yeah.
some network does.
You know what I'm going to do, Dr. John? I'm going to campus next Friday. Jack Sacco is the keynote speaker at an event on campus. And I'm wondering if Pete's going to be there. So I'm going to dress in my nice clothes, be there for dinner, mind my P's and Q's, and support Jack giving this speech. And if Pete's there, I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to go, "Hey man, you missed the tailgate. Where were you?"
Yeah, tell him I ticked off at him.
Yeah, I'm sure it's top of mind.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, he pointed out we're both Soren people. We both were at Soren as a dorm, so that was a connection.
Yeah.
And I thought he had more loyalty to fellow Soren people, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's a shame. But I do know this. I'm off to a lot better start with this AD than the last one. This one knows of me and doesn't totally hate me like the other one. So that's fine. Like, I'm off to a way better relationship with this guy, and I want to keep it that way. I really do.
Yeah. Okay, last two items. First of all, did you give Adam my email address?
Yep, I got that all set up, and if we need to give you whatever we need to do, we'll get you up there. We'll get you good.
All right. Okay, well, if Adam's listening, give me a shout out on my email. Anyway, the last thing is the Purdue game. You're gonna have to put out extra effort on that game because I will not be able to see it.
Oh man, you got obligations.
Yeah, my brother's buddies have this golf outing down in southern Iowa. It was the day of the Purdue game.
Oh boy.
So
now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you how you handle this. I've been in that position before where me and Pat were playing in a Ryder Cup event and it's 2 rounds of golf all day on a Saturday and all this stuff. Do you bring it up on your phone and keep it going while you're golfing and get updates? Or do you prefer to totally black it out because you can't handle that distraction while you're golfing? Because that's how I was. I couldn't golf with the Notre Dame in my mind.
Well, this is going to be a scramble.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little easier to listen. I'm going to try to get it on my phone.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but we'll be well represented. There's going to be a large contingent of Notre Dame folks heading into West Lafayette. Anybody that's going, you can have one of the flags, and we'll see what we got cooking. But we'll be well represented. So, and it's going to be
all right.
Yeah, we'll get you covered.
Okay, do that. Have a great rest of your show. It's a beautiful day here in Big Sky. I have no golf today, but I have a tee time on Friday. So
beautiful, man.
And so things are good.
Fantastic.
Enjoy your show. Have fun.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the call as always and all the support. How do you remember this? Who nailed that? Who nailed that? It absolutely was Virginia. 100%. It was Virginia. And me and Pat were in the clubhouse, coming in and out in between our round, yelling about the football. And everybody thought we were dumb for yelling about the football in the golf clubhouse. How in the hell do you remember that? It was exactly that game. Yes. Good job. Johnny, oh boy. Ask Pat. I'm sitting this one out. You can ask Pat, and he could describe it. Johnny raging on the golf course would be quite epic. Pat would know all about that. He would know all about that. So, yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. 219, you're on the line. Is this the commander? And I got 2 574s after it. So local Notre Dame contingent in the mix here with the 219 and the 574s. Do I got you? Is this the commander?
That's right.
Oh, boy.
I'm in the house, and I'm feeling good this morning, and round we go. In the end, we're going to get what we deserve.
You,
as fans,
oh boy,
as a team, and as a player. And it's the dog days of summer. It's time to build up the dogs. It's time to get trained, get some good coach. That's right. Time to get some coaching. Time to watch some film. Figure out what these A&M defensive ends are doing. And we got to find a way to stop them. And it's going to be up to Freeman and Denbrock to do that.
I'm going to tell you, man.
Let's go.
You are an enigma. You come and you go, and then you're gone for a while, and then everyone was convinced I banned you. We didn't see you for a few days. Then you show back up, and now you're like on one. What has you so excited on a random Wednesday? Why are you so animated today? I love it, though. I like that energy.
Because I'm thinking ahead to the future. And to be honest with you, I've done some thinking. And, the last time we spoke, there's a couple things there real quick. Last time we spoke, I really didn't want to discuss this, but since you bring it up, we were saying, how are we going to compare Freeman to Kelly now that there's these playoffs and this stuff? And I told you how I was viewing it. But let's not go that far with it yet. And this will tie into your last show where you were saying the quarterback recruiting off the charts, and it's just not even comparable, which I disagree with. But to give Freeman credit, let's compare where him and Kelly was at their first 2 years. Okay? Kelly won 8 games his first 2. Freeman won 9. Right? That's a win for Freeman. He needs to take and build on what he's doing. Now, do I think Freeman's a better coach than Kelly? No, not right now. But that has nothing to do with it. Freeman needs to take the momentum he's got with these 9-win seasons. Pretty good for a starting head coach, for his first year. Also, you can go back in history. A lot of Notre Dame coaches didn't win 9 games their first 2 years, even though Freeman took over a team that had won 10 the last 6 or 7 or something like that. He's got to instill, like I said, dog days of summer, time to build the dogs. That goes for the coaching staff too. I want to see an intense Marcus Freeman in Texas. I don't want to see the nice guy biting his lip. Oh, shucks, fellas, I'm your friend. No, I'm not your friend. He needs to instill in these guys. First off, he needs to do his job and have them prepared. Watch the film. Get some technique. Obviously they're going to work out hard. All the teams work out hard. But watch film on these 2 defensive ends. I don't want to see those defensive ends ruin the season for us. And Freeman needs to tell his guys behind closed doors, listen, I'm going to get you guys, the coaches in here, to get you coached up. We're going to do everything we possibly can. If we lose week 1, it is not going to be my fault. It's going to be all these guys in this room's fault. And do not embarrass yourselves. Do not embarrass me. Do not embarrass the fans. And that needs to be the mentality every single day. They need to win practice. They need to win the weight room. Put pictures of those 2 defensive ends up. The one guy is projected to be a top 15 pick. The other guy is projected to be a borderline first round. Okay? Denbrock's going to have multiple backup plans. If these guys start wreaking havoc, you're going to have to figure out what tight end's going to help and what back's going to help so that we don't let these 2 guys beat us. Do I make sense with any of that?
Yeah, it makes
Do not let those guys beat you.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I'm with you on this one, man. I'm telling you. When you call sober, you make a lot more sense than your chats do. I'm serious. Like you do it makes a lot of times you call if you're halfway sober. I don't disagree with your points, man. I actually kind of like when you call in and inject some of this energy. I'm with you, man. How do you get Notre Dame to have this mentality though? Flip that switch into kill mode, win mode, destroy mode. How do you get them to How do you do that? Is it leadership from the coach? Do the players have to take ownership to flip that switch and become rabid? Like, how do you get that mentality in the Notre Dame program? How do you do it?
All the above.
Yeah, little bit from everybody. Everybody needs to do their part. Is that what you're saying, to build that vibe?
Everybody needs to want to get in on it.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss out on this. You don't want to. They need to build. Somehow they need to instill in these guys. You don't want to miss out on what's about to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's man, I'm with you, but you cannot underestimate how big of a moment week 1 is. I really have tried to find reasons to be more measured in my thought about it. There's just no way to avoid what a big flash point moment it is for Freeman and where Notre Dame is at. There's just no way. Like, you can't downplay it. It's going to be such a big perceptual and practical moment. You can't underestimate it. It's a huge moment, and Freeman should be expected to win it. Like, Freeman is in year 3. He should be expected to win it. The pressure should be on him to win the game. And I know Elko's good, but he ain't in year 3. Notre Dame should be further down the road. Pressure's on Freeman to get it done, and I agree with you. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that. Pressure's on him.
It's week 1 is for next season is, I believe, going to make or break the season. I believe that it will also could make or break Marcus Freeman's legacy as a Notre Dame coach. Because if they go out and screw up and then end up, losing a bunch of games or whatever, because we lost week 1 and now some guys are checked out, people are just going to lose faith. But Marcus Freeman should be scared to death to lose that game. If I were him, I would be scared. All that money he's making, everything else, you better be scared. You better not lose that game, man. And he better know it.
Yeah. It's a big.
His ass is.
But it is. The part that I find most interesting is everybody's predicting this high level 11-1, 12-0 Notre Dame run, like ESPN had him in the top 5 or whatever. If you lose week 1, all that's in the garbage. Everybody's shredding it all. And suddenly there's 3 or 4 more games on the schedule that look like they could be losses that we checked as wins in the summer. Like, that's how this is going to go. You're in the danger zone then. You need to win week 1. I don't care what it looks like. I don't need pretty points. I just need you to do enough to win that ball game. And then we get through it. And then we develop as a team. You got to get this one.
Absolutely. One thing that I will give this coach, I don't give this coaching staff, I've been, critical of them, obviously. But one thing, though, that I will give this staff for is that I don't know who's responsible for it or if it's multiple guys, but when you look at the defensive backs we got this year coming in for next season, is this the best? Is this the best defensive back class Notre Dame has ever had? I believe it is.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job.
The 25 recruits, the corners and the safety, I believe they're all top 10 at their position.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, they're doing a fantastic job. And the other reason it's so exceptional to me is the secondary has been a weak point for my entire Notre Dame viewing career in my life, just about to turn 40. The secondary has let us down against any good team we played. That used to be the big thing on Notre Dame, that secondary. Now they're turning it from a weakness to a strength. It's a big deal, and they're doing a fantastic job.
In that area, okay, that's basically the only area that I see it's undeniable better than what the last coach is doing. As far as the quarterback, like that video you put out the other day, and you said, "Oh, it's just so clear that the quarterback recruiting's improved. It's Marcus Freeman, this, that, and the other. I disagree. Outside of
you want a bunch of
you
want a bunch of Drew Pines that get off the Wizard of Oz set and come play quarterback for you? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing?
No, I want players like Brandon Wimbush, Gunnar Keel, Buckner. All these guys were ranked higher than Knight or Grubbs, but for whatever reason, they whiffed on all those guys. Nobody got developed. And
what about Phil? Don't worry, man. Phil Yurkovic's going to be the one.
Phil. There's another one.
Yeah.
Phil. He was another guy ranked. He was in the top 10 easily at his position. He might have been in the top 5. So you've got, like I said, you've had plenty of potential. You just haven't had, for whatever reason.
It hasn't all clicked. It hasn't all clicked.
I thought he was supposed to be the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. He's a guru, all right.
Whatever happened,
quarterback guru.
It never clicked. It never worked. It was just.
Yeah, you're right. It just never worked.
Yeah.
My point is, you're going to have multiple quarterbacks in a room. A lot of people think has a very high ceiling, and it gives you more than one roll of the dice to have one of those guys emerge head and shoulders above all the rest. The other ones might leave or whatever, but you get the one you need that naturally rises above the others, and then you hitch the wagon to them, and then you go win football at a different clip than we've been doing. That's the plan.
Absolutely, and I think that it's going to be hard. It's going to be more difficult for Notre Dame football program to screw up C.J. Carr because he's got his family who's, obviously highly invested in football, and they're going to help him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting, but hey, I really like your energy today, and it's another good call. Your last couple of calls have been good. Anything on the way out, good call. I like your energy, man. You're worked up, and I dig it.
Other than just kick ass every day, man, and get to Texas.
I like that. Dude, I actually like that. I like that. Just kick ass every day, man. What are you going to do in the summer? Kick ass every day. What a great way to end the call. I actually like that a lot, Commander. Thank you for the call today, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, John, man. Have a good one, man. Peace.
Take care, buddy. Dude, that dude is, I can't figure him out, man. The chats don't always match the calls. The chats are mean, and John, I'm going to expose you for all that. But then whenever he calls and he's half sober, we have a good conversation. And I enjoy it, actually. Look at this, the format. John, you do know that dogs bark, not howl, correct? It is not as funny to go to do the bark as it is. It's more fun for me to go, ow, ow, ow. That's just fun to do. So leave me alone. Okay, Bruce, if I want to howl on my own show, I'm going to howl. Yeah, my dogs howl too, man. I got coons for dogs. All they do is howl. I mean, I'm not saying I'm raising a pack of wolves in the backyard, but they howl. The coon that I got, she howls all the time. All right, we're going to get this out of the way. I saw Pat address it, and it's bugging me too, and I'm just doing it now. Blaze Bama. I don't recognize your name. Maybe you're new here, and I'm open to that. I'm genuinely not being rude. I don't recognize the name, and so maybe you're new in the ecosystem. And he says, why is Dr. John the only caller you take on this show every day? First, he calls one time a week. Wednesday mornings, and I put him on first so he could go live his life, golf, pick a girlfriend to take shopping for the day, whatever we're doing. So it isn't every day. It is every Wednesday. That is his spot. That is his time to call and connect with us. And I want to get him in as the first caller so he could go live his day. Second, Dr. John and I have a personal relationship. He is the one person that reminds me the most of my Grandpa Kennedy which is the reason we are Notre Dame people. And I love him. And he's considered a part of the family. And he comes to all of our events, helps out whenever he can, comes and promotes everything, trying to help us get parking, whatever. And I love him. So he could do whatever he wants. He could do whatever he wants. He could talk about whatever he wants to talk about, football or not. I don't care. That's my guy. I love him. He can have his time and use it however he wants. That he is like the closest vibe connection between me and my dead grandpa, and I'm never telling him to do anything different. So when he gets his time, he can do whatever he wants. I'm sure he's a good dude, but that's not my point. Go away then! Go away then! Start the Blaze Bama show if you don't want to listen to one of my callers. I don't care. Go away. Is there somebody in your house forcing you to watch Always Irish? Go away if you don't like it. There's plenty of other Notre Dame shows where all they're going to do is mumble to you monotone about a film breakdown. If that's more your style, go. I'm not going to lose my grip on my YouTube algorithm spot if Blaze Alabama leaves. Dr. John can do whatever the hell he wants. It's never going to change. He's in the family. That's the answer. Don't like it, go away. Don't care. Don't need you. Don't get me wrong. I want you. I want people, but I don't need you. And then once I explain to you the exact reason I feel that way, that would be the time for you to get a social cue and back off a little bit. But no, it's the internet. It's the internet. Dr. John can do whatever the hell he wants as long as he wants to. He's my guy and I love him and I don't care what you think. There, is that a better answer? More direct? Go somewhere else. And the last person I'm open to taking programming advice from is a guy I have no history with, have no idea who you are. You never donated $1 and you're an Alabama person. Why exactly do I care what you think? Go away. I don't care about you. Leave. Go. There's 19 Alabama shows. Go watch one. Don't care. Domer Wop, $5 hour. Shout out to JK, PC, and AI Nation. Love the shows, the calls, and the chat. Dr. John could do whatever he wants. He's got carte blanche. He's in the family. He could do whatever he wants. 574, what's going on? 574-298, you're up. What's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very, very well. There's a lot of energy here for the summer. I love it. There's a lot of energy. People are all over the map with their thoughts. What's on your mind? I'd love to know.
My first thought is just from that one comment is, how can you be super cocky over getting a brand new coach and new staff and you have no idea how well they're going to perform? What is your defense that, they're going to be good right off the bat, other than, he made the national championship? Yeah, he also got his ass beat in the national championship, and he had to do it with mostly seniors. Wasn't consistent.
Who's beeping? What is that noise? Do you hear that? I'm sorry. I think somebody's calling me on the other phone line there. So wait, who are we talking about? Good right away?
So Alabama fans, and I have Michigan fans in here too, thinking like they're going to stay consistent and be good when they have brand new coaches and brand new staffs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but just because you have the brand does not mean you're going to be consistently good.
Yeah, especially with Michigan in particular. They're in a weird spot. Michigan's in a weird spot, right? tough schedule, new people, recruiting. They could barely get anybody to commit. Has anybody noticed that? Have you looked at their recruiting since all of this happened? Harbaugh left, Sharon Moore came in. They got like 4 recruits that they can't recruit. I think everybody's scared the hammer's going to come down, and then nobody wants to be locked in there, although they could transfer, but nobody wants to be locked in there when they're banned for a bowl game or whatever. They're really struggling. And that's what happens, though, when you have these problems. Even off a national championship, they have not been able to parlay it into recruiting. It's been a struggle.
So I've actually asked a few people that I know that are Michigan fans about that, and they just say, "Oh, recruiting rankings don't matter." They kind of do if you're like below the 20s.
No, they matter. Listen, nobody.
Yeah,
no,
like
listen.
Stanford,
If you look at, pull up the recent national champions, the last 5 years, 6 years, however many years you want to go back, and you pull up the winners, and then you look at their recent recruiting, they all recruit very, very well, elitely. Michigan's the one you could argue did it the other way with a lot of upperclassmen built over the years, and they all kind of got a vibe together. You catch an easy schedule. Everybody's on board. They are kind of the outlier. But if you look at who wins, it's talent. It's talent wins more than it doesn't. That's just the way it is. My question is, how good can Notre Dame get at recruiting? If you have a good playoff year, can Nick Freeman crank that recruiting up another notch? How good can it get?
Honestly, I think it's just going to get better from here, especially since last week that schools can now help students with NIL, that lawsuit with the NCAA. And I know, was it Father Jenkins made a speech about that? But here's the point. But here's the thing: is giving the schools that much power, especially with Notre Dame being a brand that's worth, was it $25 billion? There's no reason that Notre Dame can't get any player anymore. There's no excuse. No excuse.
Yeah, but will they operate that way? You know what I mean? Like the ability to do it and the willingness to set it up so that you could functionally operate and navigate that way. Those are two different things.
Well, you also got to look at the plans that Notre Dame already has in place. They already have the already being, ready to be built pretty soon. That's going to be done in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's going to build a lot more, kids to be impressed with what we already have.
All right.
Where the program.
Let me ask you this.
And that's going to boost recruiting.
Let me ask you this part of it. Now that they've made it where freshmen could get paid just like through the university, or not NIL specific, but this payout that every scholarship guy is going to get on all these teams. Does that help Notre Dame recruit some of these freshmen who are looking for a little NIL up front? And at Notre Dame, they're saying, we don't do that for freshmen. You got to earn your money later down the road, like prove yourself. I'm wondering if that helps Notre Dame, because some of those guys that might be interested in Notre Dame but need for their family or want a little bit of that cash, now they'll be able to get it because you're going to get paid a certain amount. I'm wondering if that cracks the door open for some guys that would otherwise be turned off by Notre Dame not being willing to pay them right away, because you're going to get paid some amount right away. I wonder if that helps. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, look at TJ Carr. He already has an NIL deal already, and he hasn't even touched the field. He's in his first semester. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Dude, you know what cracks me up? I'm not saying
got the NIL deal.
I'm not saying that I know what I'm doing, but right away when NIL became legal, I went to USA Today and I wrote an article and I came up with all these different ideas right off the top of my head. And one of my top idea was, I need Notre Dame starting quarterback to be representing like a luxury car brand, and you're driving on the expressway in Chicago and you see Notre Dame's quarterback and, go to the Naperville Mercedes dealer, whatever it is. And sure enough, here he is with like a car deal type thing. Notre Dame could clean up in any of this if they really wanted to. They got the resources and they got the brand cachet.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on already. So that's but at the same time, I don't want to have a Jimmy Clausen quarterback arriving on in a limo with a fur coat on.
I'm telling you, dude, he looked like a rich ostrich. You know what I'm saying?
More like a rich peacock.
Like, dude, with the hair. And then you know what the worst part of
With
it
the hair and everything.
Do you know what the worst part of it is, man? And I don't want to be this way. It's the picture of him with his little hand bent over, all feminine, like with that ring. Like, oh, look at my ring I acquired. Like, the whole thing, man. And guess what, bro? You ain't Joe Namath on the Brady Bunch walking around in that jacket. You ain't that, okay?
Well, my point still stands is that just Carr alone getting that NIL deal without even touching the field yet should tell you everything. And you know for a fact that Deuce Knight's going to get the same thing.
Things are changing. Listen, man, things are changing. Things are changing. And I know no one wants to hear it. Everybody wants results on the field that are exactly what we want. I'm just telling people Notre Dame's changing. There are a lot of ways of thinking behind the scenes with this football operation that are modernizing. Is it at the speed we all want? Maybe not. I'm just telling you, things behind the scenes, they want to support Freeman and they understand what's happening in the sport and Notre Dame's need to keep up. And they're trying to do it.
They're doing more than doing it. They're actually impressing me with how well they've gone faster in this new era. And honestly, probably can give credit to Freeman for getting that chip ready early. But this new athletic director is also doing everything he can to support Freeman. And that's better than what that is probably going to be even more prominent in the next couple of years.
Let me ask you this, and I want your genuine opinion. When I look at where Notre Dame's at right now, overall as an institution and football operation, and I consider the big scale changes going on in the sport and everything with the money and everything else, a part of me feels like Pete Pavakwa is a really good fit to be the AD for this time and space in Notre Dame football. He's modern, he's younger, he has the TV experience and understands how all this works. He has a unique affinity for Notre Dame football, being elite, and even was on the team as a walk-on with Lou for a little bit of his tenure. This guy seems to understand the moment and where we're at in it. And I think he's a really comfortable fit for this time period to be the AD. Do you agree with me or no?
Well, I completely agree. I'll tell you this right now, though, is, well, he's a first class businessman all the way through.
Yeah.
And if as an athletic director for Notre Dame right now, he's doing everything he can to support the basketball teams and the football team because they're the ones that are making the most athletic money for the college.
Yeah.
Second, if I were him, I would contact NBC and make a contract that no matter what, Notre Dame and USC gets only aired on NBC and no other station for every year from now on, because you want to make sure that rivalry stays intact.
Yeah, we're in some wild times. If you really think about how fast the sport is changing in major ways, it really is a lot to keep up with. And a lot of these football operations are not built to be able to adjust things this extreme, this quickly. And the teams that are able to do it comfortably, effectively, and efficiently without making a bunch of big mistakes financially or otherwise are going to be in a good spot. I think Pete Pavakwa is sharp, and I think he's going to figure it out. And I know Father John was up there talking tourism and whatever. My first question was, bro, I thought you were done here. Why am I listening to you? You're done. You're out. He ain't even the president anymore, so why am I letting him set the tone on all that? You're out, buddy. Whatever. What does Father Bob think?
Really told me.
What does Father Bob think? Get Father Bob on the microphone, not this guy on the way out. Give me the guy now. I want to know what he thinks.
That speech to me was just that speech to me was just him saying, trying to say all the nice things, but really, Notre Dame's going to be the front runner in making sure that every person that comes into recruiting for Notre Dame is going to get the top-notch deal done and get the most money.
Yeah.
Because wasn't these rules put in years ago, please, in check? Especially, and by the way, if this new rule that just got passed, you know what other school's going to be good again? Just because they're allowed to promote the players?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me Stanford's not going to take advantage of that rule too?
Yeah.
They just had a 5-star offensive tackle go there, and now he's favored to be committed. Oh, let that sink in. That's going to be more consistent going forward.
Yeah, it's man, it's going to be interesting. But I feel confident when I reach out to different parts of this program and the people that I know that are involved with many different things. Everything's making movement in a modern direction behind the scenes. Some of it isn't as fast as we want, but they are aware. That's the other thing, man. Sometimes did you ever wonder, like under Jack, does he fully get it? Did you ever wonder that? There were times where things would happen and I would say, I just don't understand if he gets it. The modern realities of where we're at and the way Notre Dame people are looking at all that. I didn't always feel like he got it. Pete gets it. And I appreciate not having that worry of not knowing if the AD is fully in lockstep with the modern realities in the moment we're in. Pete's totally in the middle of that, and it gives me some comfort. Does that make sense?
No, it makes but you also have this way too is that these Ivy League schools, you're giving these athletes. Yes, some people think it's unfair that the Ivy League schools are giving it millions and millions of dollars to go there instead of to common schools like Tennessee, Alabama that are really easy to get into with low scores. Well, let me ask you this question: probably better for those kids to go to these Ivy League schools, and even if they're only there for 3 or 4 years, they can still go back and get their degree.
Yeah,
it's better for kids.
Yeah,
it's better for them. They are going to be surrounded by teachers, by counselors, by better people. Make them adults, not to these other schools that they're there to basically take 6 gym classes and go to the NFL and wonder.
Okay,
what
now
the heck happened.
All right. Now the issue with that is, you got to have a kid who understands that. You have to have a support system around the kid that understands that with his family, high school coach, trainers, whoever's in his circle. That's the issue. You got to have the right people understand that big picture. And then, that goes a long way. That's the thing with Deuce Knight. The mom understands the Notre Dame vision and the big picture and looking beyond just a quick payday for a couple years, go to the league. You got to give more people to understand that big picture stuff. Really good call, man. Any other thoughts on the way out? Really good call. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah. And my last point is that I know the other caller earlier was comparing the quarterbacks, Kelly and Freeman's had. Here's my one argument, though. Kelly never will have a loaded QB room. Marcus Freeman does. And I'll tell you why. Because after he got Brandon Wimbush that one year, he never tried again. Ever.
Yeah.
He let his coaches do what he was done trying.
Yeah, it's man, this is Notre Dame's got a big opportunity in front of them in the modern era. If they navigate it correctly, they could position themselves well every year here in this modern dynamic. And I'm seeing the seeds of that, but they need to grow and they need to be nurtured, and you got to take care of this new dynamic. Hey man, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Yeah, take care.
Good calls today, man. I don't know what the deal is with this energy, but I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is a little scary, but I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. This is the best ND show. I love John's cultural and psychological analysis of the program. Rather than discussing the technical aspects of the game, here's the thing, man. Everybody in this niche kind of has an area that fits their personality naturally. There are a lot of shows that will be really good at breaking down the X's and O's on a game, looking at who made the wrong move and what we should have done, why we got burned or whatever. There's other people that really get into the recruiting weeds and they get turned on by the recruiting drama and all the clickbait and this guy decommitted and all that drama. That appeals to some people. It doesn't me. It rubs me the wrong way. Some people get turned on by that part of it. I love, what does this make you think? What does this make you feel? I love the philosophical questions. And I love the existential questions. That's my favorite word. I love discussing Notre Dame existentialism. I love it. Love it. What did somebody say? Somebody say something stupid? Can't say or I'll be in timeout. Yeah. If you know it's going to react and if you know the reaction's going to be you're in trouble, maybe you shouldn't say it or at least tone it down a little bit. John, the philosopher. I'm going to tell you guys this too. I was an idiot in college. I took all my hard credits, a lot of them earlier. And the one class I had with Pat, it's the only B I ever got in college. And it still haunts me. The one math class I have with Pat, I get a B and I'm still not over it, to be honest. 574, I'm coming to you. And, stupidly, I had a bunch of open credits to take, like bowling and take to round out your whatever when you have the hard stuff done. I took philosophy. It was legitimately tough because I was in a philosophy class with philosophy majors and they're all these brainiac nerd people. And I'm not like that, but I really liked the concept of learning about philosophy and debate and all that. I'm telling you, it was hard. That class was hard. It challenged my brain where I'm trying to follow what they're saying and the arguments and all this. It was legitimately tough, but I learned a lot. And I was in a class with all these brainiac philosophy people. And then I just kind of did it for fun. And they all knew that I didn't fit in. It was a weird dynamic. But I challenged myself. I liked it. It would be like the philosophy of, does God exist? And you would have these philosophers presenting these arguments of how they could try and prove through philosophy God exists. And then God doesn't exist. And then societal stuff, morality, all these debates. And it was awesome. I really got a lot out of that, but it challenged my brain. It triggered different parts of my brain. It was healthy for me. It was healthy. 574, give me some more. Welcome to the program.
Right.
What's up, man? That's right. I'm having a good day. People are getting excited, man. We're in early June and the chat is popping and people got a lot of thoughts. I'd love to know what's on your mind today, my friend.
Well, I find it interesting how many people think that Notre Dame can afford to lose to Texas A&M. I say different. And the reason why, the last 6 times, though I don't watch football, although I wasn't watching Notre Dame until mid 2004, the last 6 times, 2001, 2004, 0-1, 2007, 0-1, but that's kind of a pass year because that season was just bad.
Yeah.
2011. There was excuses for that one. 2016. Are you kidding me? 2022, understandable, but it's more so what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time Notre Dame starts up 0-1, the season goes straight to shit.
Yeah.
They are so bad at recovering from 0-1 starts. That's why I have a problem with people who think that we can afford to lose to Texas A&M. We cannot until they start recovering from those better. I'm sorry, we cannot afford to lose that game.
I think you present a fair argument because you're not just saying, I appreciate your argument actually very much because you're not saying if you just go 0-1, then that's like a bad sign that you're not that good that year. You're specifically playing it out to look at what happens after the 0-1. And the evidence is all your momentum's right out of the balloon right away. Isn't that a big part of it for you? It's a big part of it to me. All that hope and momentum through the spring and the summer is gone week 1. And it's just really hard to build that back up.
I mean, I've seen other teams being able to bounce back from 0-1. So I don't understand why Notre so bad at bouncing back from those. I mean,
okay, so wait, let me ask you this, and I don't know how you're going to answer this, but this is where my mind goes. If you're of that mindset, I would ask you this. Since Notre Dame has a dodgy history of recovering from those type of games in week 1, would you prefer that they shy away from big matchups? Georgia week 1, Ohio State week 1, A&M week 1. Would you prefer they get away from that model and try and push those games a few weeks in to be able to get off to a better start? What do you think? Or do you like that big opportunity early? We just need to come through on them once in a while.
At least week 2, in my personal opinion. It's like, if it wasn't for that Marshall game, I probably would have been okay with that. But
that was a bad day. Can you, bro? Do you really want to think about? If you really want to think about what that Marshall game and the Stanford game, like those are so off. They're so off the chart. Like just off the chart of like possibilities of what could happen. Awful. And the only way I could process it now, a couple years down the road, is I really hope Freeman learned from those humbling moments, because those were off the chart, unacceptably bad. Injuries be damned, whatever you had going on. Man, that's a tough lesson to learn. Brutal.
I agree. And another thing that just, it's like this. If Notre Dame was good, recovering from 0-1 starts, I'd be cool with starting off with Ohio State in week 1.
But now, wait a second. Wait. I thought of another angle on this, and maybe I mentioned it and I forgot. What if the reason they don't bounce back from when they start 0-1 is they're not that good? And that's why they started out 0-1. Like, right? Are you following me? Where like the concept would be not every game is in its own vacuum as a standalone game. Maybe you start 0-1 because you're just not that good that year. And then you're going to lose some more because you're not that good. And if you were that good, you wouldn't have lost week 1. As opposed to every game being their own standalone vacuum game where it's only that and they're not connected. Maybe the years you're losing game 1, it's because you ain't that damn good. And then you lose a couple more. Do you get what I'm saying philosophically?
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, granted, I would like to have another opportunity like we had with Michigan in 2018. That was one hell of a way to start the season.
Yeah, it certainly was. Certainly was. Chris Fink flying over everybody. I didn't have that on my bingo card, was Fink flying over everybody in the end zone with the grab. I love that, man. As the South Bend sunset. What a beautiful night. What a beautiful night that was. Oh, baby.
That was insane, the walk-on. Oh, and another note is Manti Te'o is on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame.
Is his girlfriend going to accompany him to the event or not?
His wife will.
I know. I know.
Don't tell everyone else.
It was a bad. It was brutal. You know what? Good for that dude, man. He loves Notre Dame so much. Manti Te'o loves Notre Dame so much that it warms my heart because it's genuine and he's coming out of a place where Notre Dame shouldn't even be on the radar. No, I'm not talking about his real wife and kids. That was a joke about Lene Kakua, who doesn't exist. I'm not ripping his current beautiful wife. I'm talking about the one that never existed. People, get it right.
Hey, trolls are gonna be trolls.
Well, I'm the one being the troll here because I'm bringing it, I'm bringing up the big knock on Manti. But God, that guy loves Notre Dame. It's so genuine that he loves Notre Dame. And it warms my heart to have a guy like that think so much of the place I love. I love that guy. He wanted to do everything he could to win for us, and I love it.
I think he needs to talk to Xavier Watts. Because, the move Xavier Watts made to come back for his senior year, I mean, that's the move that can make you a legend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got his autograph the day before the spring game.
Yeah, it's man, I'm glad you mentioned that. I remember reading that Manti news, but I forgot to mention it. So I don't know, man. This is a big, big year. And A&M's not a must win, but it feels like a must win. Like, I don't know how I'll say it, man. It's not a must win, but in so many ways it feels like it almost is. I struggle with seeing it any other way, but you have 11 more games, an expanded playoff field where theoretically you could lose the first one and into good position, all of that. It's not a must win, but it feels like a must win.
It actually is because it's week one. But the thing is, you got to understand, I actually think we're going to beat. I'm sorry. I'm just still kind of waking up. I actually think Notre Dame is going to beat Texas A&M. Close, probably. Thing is, with A&M, they're all bark, but no bite. In other words, the fans are louder than their team is.
Yeah, and
I feel a lot more scared,
buddy, listen to this, though. Follow me here. I like how you're thinking all this. Follow me, though. Is it a little dangerous to you that you got a new coach coming in there with the new energy and a new vibe? The Jimbo thing fizzled out and they realized all the money paid for play wasn't going to instantly get them where they wanted, and it all fizzled out and all the energy died out. So then they paid that guy to go away. Isn't it interesting to you, though? You got a new coach coming in here with new messaging. Nothing bad has happened yet. No, none of those players have had anything bad happen with Mike Elko. Are you worried at all that he could go in there and build this up as like, this is a new age, a new day, all that old crap's over? We've never lost a game with me in charge. Is there a way where they like rallied all that and they're on fire week one because of all that new energy, that new push, that push of something new? What about that?
Well, if Notre Dame does not allow them to be on fire, there's nothing to worry about. But if they allow them to be on fire,
that's a good point.
Something to worry about.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And you know what else about you know what else about that fire?
Another thing is,
you go on the road, you're going to shut them all up. Play good. Play good early. If you're on defense, get it 3 and out, and it'll shut those drunk Texans up. If you're on offense, put together a long drive and convert some third downs and keep the ball a little bit. Like, it's on us to control that environment, even though we're on the road. If you start the game playing well, they're going to have to shut up. You're going to force them. We have more control over this situation than we want to admit or even acknowledge that we have. If you go in there emotionally and physically and mentally prepared, you can shut that place up.
Yeah, being as if you're playing USC while they're number one. Another thing is, don't just get 3 and outs. I don't want to see any half-assing the turnovers. Anyone who gets a turnover,
touchdown,
you better be wanting to take it all the way to the end zone.
Dude, that's the old like Bears, Lovie Smith thing. I'm a Chicago area guy. When the Bears had their Super Bowl run in 05, that run, that was Lovie used to, dude, the peanut punch and all that. And everything was, if you get a turnover, you're an offensive player. It is not good enough to just get one. You need to score with it. Like that was something they pushed. And they welded it in those defenders' heads. Just getting it isn't good enough. You need to score with it. And that's how they operated. And if you're a Colts fan, then you can relate to the situation I'm talking about a lot, given how that year ended. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely wanted the defense to be scoring because
wasn't going to happen. Yeah, and Devin Esther too. By the way, we needed the defense and the special teams to do it all. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Rex is going in the Hall of Fame there, but it was a good run and it was fun when we had it. Anything else, man? I really enjoyed this call. Thank you for the energy.
Not much is going on. I mean, got some fun summer plans for this year.
You know what? That's the other thing, man. I want everybody to go have fun. This football season is going to be really stressful, and I want everybody to have their fun. If you need to get away from football, God forbid going out with the family for a little bit on a little trip, change of scenery, hit the beach somewhere out, go do something you don't usually do. It's healthy for you. So I don't blame anybody for going and doing that.
Yeah, this Sunday, I'll be at Illinois Railroad Museum. I'm going to be operating the steam train.
Oh, I like that. Ooh, ooh. That's pretty sweet, man. I like those things.
Yeah. Hey, even though I'm a skateboarder, I'm also a big train buff. I mean, I actually remember people wondering, why did he become a Notre Dame fan with him being a train buff? And saying that an in-state rival has that as their logo. Yeah,
that is interesting. I don't know, man. It's going to be a wild summer. I really appreciate the call and where you're going with this, man. It's a big year for Freeman and Notre Dame. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Anytime, man.
Take care. Really interesting guy driving the steam trains. I always like those. Where was it? We went to Disney. It was Disney, and they have like that steam train that drives you all around the park and drops you off at different places, and it's like up high and you could see everything. And we brought my daughter. I like going on that steam train, just going around the place, getting a view of everything going on. I thought it was cool. The smell of that old steam train engine and the steam and the grease and everything. I like that smell. It's interesting. Dr. John, before the show ends, I need to thank everybody in the chat for the kind comments. Always Irish Nation, you were the best. I'm telling you, man, I love that man. He's the closest I'll ever have to my Notre Dame grandpa back, and I am not letting anyone tell me a word about it. I love the guy. And that's just the way it's going to be. So, all right, you guys. I love the energy. I have no idea where it came from, but I was kind of worked up today. The chat was popping before we even went live. There was energy in the chat. I love all of it. Thanks to everybody that called, everybody that donated, everything. I love this community, and it's just still growing, and we're going to get rocking. It's going to be a big year. There's going to be a lot going on with Notre Dame, a lot going on here. It's beautiful. So I'm telling you, do whatever you got to do to relax now, because it's going to get chaotic. All right. So thanks everybody for being here. I got a video planned for you to enjoy tomorrow. Maybe I'll cut up a short of me yelling at that Alabama guy. We'll see what we have going on, but I love you all. This show's great. I love the energy. Keep it coming, you guys. You're the best. Have a good one.